This is section 5.6, part 2. I want to multiply 5y plus 2 squared, and I'm going to use the formula we have here. Again, talk yourself through it. I'm not going to write out as many steps here. I believe that you are able to skip this step to realize you're supposed to square both of them. Okay? So 5y plus 2. The first thing we do is we square the first term. If I square 5y, 5 squared is 25 plus, y squared. Sorry. Write down the middle term. That's a plus, so this is a plus. Okay. Now multiply these two things together. 5y times 2 would be 10y. And then you double that, so multiply that by 2 and you get 20y. So you should have 20y in the middle, plus, it's always a plus, last term squared, 2 squared is 4. This should be your answer. Let me write that better. Okay, so let's look at this one. This one's a little bit more difficult. X times 2x minus 5 squared. Here we have a binomial squared times x. Technically, we have three things multiplied together. Now, we talked in the last section about how you generally want to multiply your more complicated things together first. And x is very simple to distribute. So I'm going to focus on this, and I'm going to let this travel down with me for a little while. So I'm just going to bring down this x and then multiply this out, okay? And then after I figure out what this is, I'll distribute the x. So what am I going to do? I square the first term. 2x, square that. Square the 2 would be 4. Square the x is x squared. Write down the sign from the middle. This one's a minus. So this is minus. This is our first example where we have a subtraction. Okay? Now multiply these two things together. 2x times 5 would be 10x. You don't have to worry about that negative. You don't have to think of it as 2x times negative 5 because you've already taken care of the sign here. So you don't have to worry about that bit. So 10x, that's multiplying them together. And now we need to double it, which would give me 20x. If that seems familiar, it's because we had the same number of values on the previous problem. Okay, so we have minus 20x plus, remember this one's always a plus, then you square your last term, 5 squared is 25. Now distribute the x. And remember your power rules when you do that. When I multiply these two together, remember this x has an understood first power on it. And since we're multiplying, we add their exponents. So this will be 4x to the third power, or 4x cubed. Minus 20. This has an understood 1 on it. Add those exponents, and you get x squared plus 25. And that should be your answer. Okay, so let's come back here and let's look at this one. We have 3x plus 2, 3x minus 2. This is exactly the problem we worked right here. We can distribute. Your middle terms will always cancel out. I would suggest you really want to learn this formula because it makes your life so much easier. What we have here is a difference of squares. We have it right here. We have the same two terms, one with a plus, one with a minus. What this formula says is you square the first term, put a minus sign, square the second term, and you're done. That's what you always do. So I'm going to write out every step here like I did on this one. This will be 3x all squared minus 2 squared. Square this, you would get 9x squared minus 4, which is precisely what we got in the last section.